I feel like I'm always eating during my live reactions. I can't believe they even fooled Otomo with that, man. Thought this dude knew everything. Is Kyoko officially putting her hat in the ring for Haradora? Yo, even Mio Kurahashi didn't know she was a girl. No, 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 no. Oh my god. Oh my god. Kyoko. Natsume and Haruto go all out to keep that a secret for as long as possible. And now you just start telling whoever? Like, come on, Kyoko. You gotta do better than that. I'm sorry, she screwed up. Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss, and you're watching my review for Tokyo Ravens episode 19. And the reason this review is up late is because I was actually going to try, I say that even though it's been late the last 2 weeks, but I was actually planning on getting it out on time this week, but I had an exam today, so I had to study for that all day yesterday, so yeah. I did watch the episode yesterday, though, which is why my shirt changed between the reaction and the review, but live reaction and the review. But yeah, it's up now, so yeah. I'll just get into the episode. This episode had a decent number of scenes with Soma. It starts off with her talking with Kyoko, and surprisingly, she's not afraid to. She doesn't have anything to hide, really. I mean, she does, but not really. She just goes out and tells Kyoko, like, "Oh, I know your dad. I work with your dad." Well, she doesn't say she works with her dad, but still, you know, I didn't expect her to just come out and say something like that. And she's not acting like much of a villain. She's being friendly with Kyoko. She's being friendly with Harutora and Natsume and Toji. She's being friendly with everyone she meets there. Right? So she's not acting very villainy. But she is. So not. She's a villain. She's a villain, but she's not a bad guy. How about she's an antagonist, but she's not a bad guy. There we go. That's the best way to phrase it. She's an antagonist, but she's not a bad guy. Bad girl. No. She's not a bad guy. Yeah. Then we got scenes throughout this episode of this guy in Genji's office, in Genji Kurahashi's office, and we get dropped hints that this guy, well, not hints, they just come out and say it. This guy used to be dead, right? But he was brought back to life somehow, all right? Taizan Fukin ritual. I don't think so. I think if someone used the Taizan Fukin ritual, someone would find out about it. Plus, it's not like it's easy to use anyway. Suzuka failed. It's probably not really usable at all. So, how these guys actually came back to life, I don't know. Because it's not just him. Chihiro Mutobe came back to life too. And we get dropped hints that Soma used to be dead as well, which I'll get to later on. But we get hints dropped about that. And we get told that this dude in Genji's office is actually Shido Dairenji. Shido Dairenji, alright? The Ghost Division, Twin Horn Syndicate, Genji, Soma, he's involved in like all this stuff. Like I need to know more about this guy because I just don't. Plus his relationship with Suzuka, like what's gonna happen when these two meet? Like I need to learn more about Shido Dairenji. I need to know more information here because I'm legit interested now. All right, but yeah, he got brought back to life. Chihiro Mutobe got brought back to life. Soma got brought back to life. Probably, maybe that's what I'm guessing. But right now, those guys are plotting. Soma's just having fun. She's at the school enjoying herself. She says that she's not officially enrolled in school yet for some secret reason, but she will be at some point. Some secret reason that involves the plotting of Genji and Shido, and Chihiro probably, well, not Chihiro, he's not the one doing any plotting, he just does what he's told to do. But yeah, she doesn't tell the reason why she hasn't been enrolled in school yet. Natsume, while they're talking, Natsume ends up getting pulled away and asked questions by Mio Kurahashi. She doesn't know anything though, so she doesn't really have anything to say to her. But it turns out that Mio doesn't really know much about what's going on with the Tsuchimikados either. As a matter of fact, even Soma doesn't really know what's going on. She wasn't aware of the fact that the Tsuchimikado residence was burned down. She didn't even know. But what she did know was that Yasuzumi was fine. That he was probably the one who burned the house down, and not Miyachi. And she doesn't like the fact that they're fighting against the Tsuchimikados since they have a familial connection with them. But she says that Yasuzumi abandoned his duties and his responsibilities. Therefore, she can't exactly say that, you know, it's a bad thing. Like, she can't. It was expected that this would happen because he's been abandoning his duties. What duties those are, what responsibilities those are, who knows? But he was abandoning them apparently. So yeah, a couple of times in this episode we see her. At one point she talked to him. Another point he stepped in front of her to protect her, and she told him to step down. We see this invisible familiar, and that person is Chihiro Butoh. I'm not saying there are new names, Kumamaru, whatever, and Yashimaru. I don't care. I'm just going to call them by their old names. All right, I just don't care. I'm just calling them by their old names. We see. So yeah, he's there. This is what she mentions her familial relationship with the Tsuchimikado and Yako specifically. And she says that she's interested in Natsume because of the fact that she is the reincarnation of Yako, who she has a familial relation to, right? And I thought this scene was interesting because one of the things in this episode that happens is that everybody who's anybody, all right, they find out that Natsume is a girl, and they are just shocked beyond belief, okay? Otomo, he was just blown away. Mio Kurahashi thought like the freaking world was ending or something, like, oh my god, how could this be? She's a girl? Like, even it's looking like even Genji Kurahashi didn't know. And I could understand being surprised that she's a girl, because what's the point of pretending to be a boy if you can't fool anybody? But the fact that these guys were this surprised about it, I'm like, come on. She doesn't, it's not like she looks like Tagoro or like some other manly man. Like she's not like the most masculine person ever. She's clearly effeminate. Like she clearly looks pretty feminine. So it shouldn't be this much of a shock for her to be a boy. Especially when you look at this scene right here when Soma is talking with Natsume, around 6 minutes and 20 seconds in the episode, and literally the way she was animated, her chest was being emphasized. So you're emphasizing the fact that Natsume has a chest, but no one can figure out that she has a chest and that she's a girl. I just thought that was funny. Like, they go through the effort of showing her chest, and people still can't figure out that she's a girl. That's like some Nisekoi crap. I mean, really. I haven't watched the last episode of Nisekoi yet, so I don't know if a certain character was introduced, but once they're introduced, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, I just thought that was funny, how they can emphasize her chest and people still can't figure out that she's a girl. I mean, she's not exactly Kyoko, but I mean, still, there's still something there. But whatever. Yeah, they. I got so off track from the original conversation, or from the original topic. Someone was talking about her and Yako and all this stuff, and they ask Soma if she's a Yako devotee, and she says, no, I'm not. I'm not like those guys. All right. I will. She pulls like a Naruto and Sasuke, and says we can communicate through battle, through colliding with each other. Things that cannot be expressed through words can be expressed through magic. So let's have a practice match. And that's what they do. And this was enjoyable. Some good Onmyo magic, Onmyo G technique things going on there. So that was cool. And at one early on in the practice match, Natsume ended up saying that Soma reminded her of how she used to be, which I would assume has to do with how she used to be. She used to have this burden, but no one to share it with, no one close to her who would be able to let her escape the reality of being put in a position that she didn't necessarily want to be put in. Alright, but then she ended up getting Harutora, Toji, Kyoko, Tenma, Suzuka, etc., Otomo, everyone at the school. So she was reminded of, but when she looks at Soma, she sees who she used to be. So I thought that was interesting, especially since Soma later on kind of does something similar. Maybe she ends up talking with Natsume and saying that because Natsume had denied her relation to Yako. She said, "I'm not Yako Tsuchimikado. I'm Natsume Tsuchimikado. I don't care about him." Right? So Soma in response to that said, "Oh, so you're going to deny your fate as well?" I'm like, wait, so someone else who denied their fate? What was it, you, or was it like Shido Dairenji? Was it Chihiro Mutobe? Was it Genji Kurahashi? Like who 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 are you talking about here? um, maybe it was Yako. Who knows? Who knows who she knows? Because who knows who she knows? who knows who she knows? Because she, according to the guys like Genji and Shido and them, she's an ancient priestess. Okay, so pretty sure she was alive back in the day. Then she died. Then she came back stronger. Especially because Shido mentions at one point that oh, I used to be this strong, but ever since being revived, I'm even stronger than I was before. And then he says, so imagine how strong the princess is, or something like that. He didn't phrase it that way, where like he legit insinuated that she was revived, but he said it in a way where like, imagine what it would be like if the princess went all out, or something like that. So, maybe she's talking about something she knew back when she was alive before. Maybe she's talking about herself. Shido, Dairenji, Genji, Mutobe, who knows? She could be talking about anybody, but I just thought it was something worth mentioning that someone who she knows, maybe even herself, someone she knows denied their fate at some point. All right. Their roots started to turn black. All right, they started to fall into depravity. All right, Magi reference. But yeah, she was not very pleased to hear that Natsume was denying her fate as the reincarnation of Yako Tsuchimikado, and she started using this spell that she started counting up to 10, and whatever spell she was using had a negative effect on Harutora. Right, hit the mark when his cheeks started to glow, and it started to hurt. He was in pain. All right, and luckily Ultimo showed up, and he showed up like right at the count of 10. Like as the clock struck 12, like this guy showed up. All right, and well 10, but when the clock struck 10, he showed up, and he uses those swallow things and some spell tags to stop Harutora's pain, and he talks to Soma a little bit. Chihiro actually shows himself. He stops being invisible. He shows himself, and Natsume actually recognized his eyes. She looked at him and said, "Oh, those eyes. Where have I seen those before?" But she didn't actually make the connection from that time where she saw Chihiro Mutobe from like a while back. Back before Toji even started. Well, it was like right when Toji started going through his ogre problems. Um, yeah, so she recognized him kind of, and then they ended up leaving. Um, yeah, Ultimo. This was when Ultimo found out about Natsume being a girl. Um, and he ends up giving her advice about what's going on with Kyoko as well. And Natsume goes and apologizes to Kyoko. Simple enough. I thought it was a nice scene with the two of them, and it ended with Kyoko admitting to Natsume that she has feelings for Haratora and saying that she wants to have a fair fight with Natsume, and when it comes to getting flags with him and trying to win him over. Um, but she says that she wants them both to start this fight both at the starting line. So she tells her that she should tell Haratora about Hokuto. But she already has his suspicions now, so it won't be too big of a surprise for him, but still, it's good that he'll finally find out. Um, there was a scene with Mio and Otomo as well. This was when Mio found out about Natsume being a girl, and one of the things she mentioned was that we kind of saw. Well, we didn't really see it. She briefly talked about the relationship between the Tsuchimikado and the Kurahashi and the Soma, and how the Kurahashi and the Soma were the ones who supported the Tsuchimikado. They were branch families. We heard about this already from Kyoko back in like after they had their fight, Kyoko and Haratora, I mean. And she mentioned how the Kurahashis were a branch family of the Tsuchimikado and everything, or they used to be. You know, so we heard about that from there. But she ends up telling Ultimo to hand in his resignation letter, and Ultimo takes that as saying that she is releasing his shackles. So that means he can just kind of go off and do whatever he wants now. Because before the reason he was there was to guard Natsume pretty much, which he did a pretty good job of when Domanashi showed up. But he wasn't going after her, but you get the point, right? So now his shackles have been released, and one thing I want to mention is that when Mio finds out that when she's just completely shocked that Natsume is a girl, she ends up pulling a Kyoko, and she says that child was definitely a boy. So I'm thinking, Mindy June, you might just be right. You might just be right. Yasuzumi might have pulled like a switcheroo or something, and Haratora might be the legitimate reincarnation of Yako and not Natsume. But at the same time, Haratora wasn't even a spirit seer until Natsume made him one. And he wasn't that good at magic either. Until he awakened a couple weeks ago. But, yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible. Mio had a reason for believing that Natsume was the reincarnation of Yako. And the reason she's so surprised that the person she's going to be guarding now is a girl is because the person she saw at some point, that child, was definitely a boy. So Yasuzumi might have pulled a switcheroo there. He really might have. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes in the future. But the last thing we see here is Soma and Chihiro showing back up at Genji's office. Chido's still there, and she's kind of paranoid over like whether or not she comes off as being just another Yako devotee. If she comes off as being just like them. And Shido tells her, no, you're not, because unlike those other guys, you don't want Yako Tsuchimikado, you just want a comrade. And she's presented with the raven coat, and she declares that she will make Natsume her friend, or her comrade on some Haganai crap. But, yeah, she ends up calling Kyoko to ask her if she can help her make up with Natsume. And this is when Kyoko does the stupidest thing possible, and tells Soma that Natsume is a girl, okay? Now, you have to realize, alright? If Haratori and Natsume went through all this trouble just to keep that secret a secret, why are you just telling it like random people that you just met? Like, that know your father, and like no influential people in the Onmyoji world. Like, there's a reason they kept it freaking secret. And why are you telling people? Like, the Kyoko she screwed up. She screwed up. All right. Kyoko screwed up. All right, and That she is not the kind of person who you want to know that kind of thing, because as we found out, she's the one who got rid of Amami. Right? We get a confirmation of that. She took care of Amami. I don't know if getting rid of Amami means injuring him severely and throwing him on an island where he can't get back, or if it legitimately means he's been killed. No body, no death. All right, no body, no death. I need confirmation of a death before I assume that someone's dead. All right, but you know, we know that she's not the person who should be getting told this kind of information. And Kyoko doesn't know that, but she still should have been able to realize, you know, maybe I shouldn't be telling the closest secrets of my friends to strangers who know my father and other influential people in the Onmyoji community. All right, so she screwed up. All right, Kyoko screwed up. But that's it for that episode. The gears are starting to turn. We're starting to get some more serious things now. Just everyone finding out about Natsume being a girl. Genji, what he's going to do now that he knows. The Tsuchimikado, what are they doing? Suzu, what's up with her? She's disappeared. Right? So Doman Ashia, like all these gears are starting to move. They're all these people getting mentioned or coming up in the story, actually getting screen time, showing up. So the gears are starting to move, and halfway through the second part of the season, looks like we're getting to the main part of this arc. So I won't call it a main conflict, because I doubt that the light novels only cover this much material. There's probably a lot more, so I won't call it the main conflict. But as far as the anime goes, this is the main conflict, and we're getting there. So I'm looking forward to it. But as far as this episode goes, I was going to give it a 7.5 out of 10, but I'll give it an 8, just because of the whole. Everyone was just that surprised about Natsume being a girl, and that apparently is going to have some big effects in the community, in the Tokyo Ravens verse, especially with Mio and what she said. Plus Shido Dairenji appearing, you know, that's big. Soma getting development and getting a lot of screen time here, so you know there's a lot of things happen. So yeah, I'll give it an 8 out of 10, and I'll say it was a good episode. And yeah, that's it. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.